My daughter loves Little Bear. Therefore, I've seen a lot of Little Bear. I have watched many, many episodes of Little Bear, and I like the show a lot too. I never watched it as a kid. I'm not really sure why though, because it's like exactly the type of thing that I would have enjoyed as a kid. But anyway, one day I was watching the show and I thought this would be perfect to try to build the house in Minecraft because the show is such a calm vibe. It's a forest vibe, naturey. It's perfect. And I really enjoy this type of thing. I'm not super duper like build experienced, honestly, in Minecraft. I don't really have like a thing that I typically do, is what I'm trying to say. But what I guess I like is I like doing stuff like this where I'm trying to sort of replicate something that already exists in some other capacity somewhere, whether it's like in real life or in media. And so I looked at the show and I was like, huh, okay. So the house would not be too bad. It's not huge and it's perfect for my skill level. So I started looking at different episodes and I noticed the house has different iterations and there's like slight differences in different episodes across different seasons in the layout of the house. And so I kind of just watched a lot of it and tried to notice as much as I could about the nuances of the different ways that the house and like the property property was drawn and portrayed. And so what this is not meant to be like exactly precisely every single detail is right interpretation of it's not supposed to be exact is what I'm trying to say, because there's really not an exact, because the episodes don't agree, probably because they weren't all drawn by the same team, or if they were, who could have blamed them for not being exactly the same across all the episodes. So this is basically my interpretation of like all of the different ways that the house has been drawn in the show, and this is what I felt like was the best way that I could represent it in Minecraft. So basically, let me go into Cheaty Flyhead here. Ooh, voice crack. Cheaty Flyhead. So if you look at this from the outside, and obviously I will show you the inside, but if you look at this from the outside, basically what you see is, how do I get rid of the, there it is. What you see is there's the big main square area, kind of marked by the wall going inwards right there. There's the big rectangular area, and then there's the back part. Basically, this part. And this is the I have to remember what I did. This is the bedrooms. So like this part where the roof is different is the two bedrooms. This is like the living room and the kitchen. And then this part is what episodes don't really agree on. It's like, is that part there or not? And is this part there or not? Or is it both? So I did both. And we'll go into more detail about that when I show you the inside. But basically, all that to say, this is like the layout that I came up with to basically represent it as best I could. Okay, let me go into some more detail and show you some of the stuff that I've done on the exterior, and then I'll show you the interior. So I have a lot of inspiration from B-dubs as far as learning how to texture and how to do some sightline type of stuff. I'm definitely nowhere near on the kind of level that B-dubs is at. If you have no idea who I'm talking about Hermitcraft and the specific guy B000100. He's been around a long time. He's an old man. B-dubs is really, really good. And he is probably, in my opinion, the best Minecraft, at least builder ever. Some would say he's the best player ever. So he is just really, really good. Basically, he's an artist. He paints like a beautiful picture in Minecraft whenever he does anything. So basically, just like you see the texture in there, the slight difference in a couple of those blocks using the red sandstone instead of the what's that, acacia. I like how that adds in a little bit of variety without being too much. Same thing there with these being pale oak stripped logs, primarily the walls, but it's got the planks thrown in a few places. Similarly to some B-dubs learning that I've done, This is the first, literally the first custom tree that I've ever done. So I wouldn't say it's great, but honestly, it's not too bad. Pathing, I don't know what I'm doing across the board, but here I like the blocks, the mud blocks and mud bricks mixed in with the path here. I also took some liberties, like I was saying, as far as the exterior design and the design in general of the place. Like the bushes aren't, exactly where all the bushes are in every episode or anything like that. In fact, I think in most of the episode there are not bushes on these corners, but I like how that frames the house, and I think that it just really looks nice. The bench is there. These things, when I was kind of looking at the house in the show for the first time and thinking I should build that in Minecraft, it was because that looks like there's ladders there on this kind of entranceway. They're more like a trellis or something, but it works well. And then back here, I like the way the chimney came out. That's pretty good. Even with the cap up there, I think is pretty accurate. Oh, windows. Basically, in Little Bear, what you have is blue frames with like this kind of plaid square pattern that you get from the oak trapdoors. And so since you can't do like a a clear window with a colored frame in Minecraft, this is about as good as I could get it to show that the blue color's there, but so is the smaller squares. And so I'm pretty happy with that. And there's a window up there too in the attic, which we'll talk more about later. On this side, this is their wood pile where they have like firewood and stuff. This is not actually in the show. This was like a liberty that I took, just kind of a creative thing that I kind of wanted to do here to fill the space. Little Bear loves fishing. He loves to go fishing with Father Bear, and he's always talking about fishing. And so I figured, what if I made like a little like dry dock or something like that for one of their little boats. They use small boats a lot, and what if they had a little place to work on one? And so it's supposed to be like up on, like a stand, and this could be like a workstation where they could work on the boat. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then back here you can see there usually is a chair here. Sometimes on this side, sometimes on this side. I went with right here. And then this tree. This tree is usually there in the show. And this is obviously another custom tree. And I'm kind of happy with this one too. That honestly, I like it. Yep, not too much more to say about it. I just kind of tried. It did sort of like a similar type of thing to the other one as far as going in a few different directions, but on a smaller scale. And Etho had a tree like this. Another Hermitcraft guy. Etho had a tree like this in the front yard of his season 10 house. And so I sort of replicated the base that he did for that, which I'm very happy with. Thank you, Etho. Clothesline. The shed, not too bad. That's the place where it's in. And you may not think twice about it in the show, but it's there. And it's got a blue roof. This is like a garden shed. Tools. It's kind of neat how you can do like it still looks like a wall on the outside, but with the shelves, obviously you have more space. Sort of like a trapdoor. It's not anything like brand new, but instead of just having a wall right here, it's inward some more because of the shelf. So that's kind of neat how that works. Just some junk in here used for building. Let me sleep and I'll be right back. Okay, a couple more things on the outside and then I'll show you the interior. So here's the garden. The garden in Little Bear is important because there's almost always a garden in the back. A couple times it's in the front, but it's usually in the back. And it's typically this kind of square with like cross path in the middle. So Mother Bear has like a variety of stuff growing, although a lot of it is tall like this, if you kind of notice, and a lot of it sort of looks like tomatoes. So that kind of looks like tomatoes. That kind of looks like tomatoes. That stuff's tall. That stuff's tall. It's got like some red in there. So, I just thought, if you put some of these bushes in there, it would add in a little bit more red that is kind of like at the level of like what a tomato would be at, So let's see. Let's get another one of these and see if that kind of works. Yeah, sure. Might experiment with that some more. Yeah, so that kind of works as like a tomato plant. So let's see. Some more things out here. We have nothing back here because there's not really anything, just some bushes that are sort of helping with the framing. Hello, Skilly. You know, I realized that I haven't said anything about the location that I chose to build this in. And I also didn't say, my name is Jake, and this is my survival Java Minecraft world. And my regular base is over here. Over there. And this is a forest biome that is like between two bits of a mangrove forest. And then there's a cool mountain back there with a savanna biome on it. So this is where I chose. Originally, this was all wooded like this and didn't have any of the spruce trees. So I had to do a fair amount of terraforming because there was actually a hill, this spot where I'm standing right here, this extended until about the back of the house. And so I had to cut all this back, removed a ton of dirt and stone, did some terraforming, and flattened all this out. And I made that hill that those trees are on and put all of those trees there. And those are obviously all vanilla trees that I planted. But I put all those trees there and the foliage and stuff, including basically around the perimeter of the whole place. As you can see, there's the spruce trees, and none of those are there naturally in this biome, so I planted all those. And that set of two trees right there, those are meant to mimic the two trees that are kind of at that angle in that spot in the intro shot of the show that is about right here. So there's some about the actual location itself. All right, I think we're ready to check out the interior. Here we go. Coming in the front door. Here we are. So I tried to pay, again, kind of as much attention as possible to the real details in the show, but there's some, liberties and things like that. So kitchen, dining space, fireplace, sitting corner, clock. This is supposed to be Mother Bear's sewing machine, and often it's mixed in with this corner, but because of the way the space worked out, I decided this would be good here. And what's usually here in the middle of these two doors in the show is actually a mirror, and I didn't feel like trying to do something that looked like a mirror since there's not really a great way to do that in the game, so I went with sewing machine here. This, obviously that would be cool if it like connected, and I've tried putting like another trap door here so that this part would connect here, but that honestly looks like the top of a sewing machine. If it would just connect, that would be cool, but I think it kind of does the job. There's this corner that has like a cabinet, and there's like some valuable like display stuff in here or whatever. And then there's some kitchen stuff. This is like sink. There's usually like a spout somewhere in the show, which would have been here. Could have used a lever for it, but these red shelves are intended to look kind of like curtains, and that one's occupying that space. So I just went with the cauldron. Yes, a little bit of knobbage going on for what are supposed to be cabinets. This thing is a cabinet in the show, and it's usually where he keeps his fishing rod on the inside. So I just kind of threw a fishing rod in the item frame there. This doorway, they usually will have a coat rack here. So there's usually like a blue coat and a green one, and so blue hat, green coat. Something else I experimented with when I was doing this interior is rugs. So this table, this is meant to be a wooden table with a white tablecloth on it, and so I went with this. I figured the tablecloth drapes all the way down to the floor, so why not just put the wool block? And I think that pretty much works. And it's supposed to have like a red rug under it, and you can see I did it here too with this rug. Having a block or an item or something occupying this space, like something on the rug, but it's of course not actually on a piece of carpet, but it looks like it is. That kind of helps with the like the illusion that that is a rug. So that's I'm pretty happy with that. This is meant to be a footstool to this chair, and it's sitting on this part of the rug, like those chairs are sitting on that rug. Fireplace. And this I struggled with for a long time because I needed a light source over here, like it's coming from those candles, and the trap doors let some light through. And so I wanted something that looked a little bit subtle, like it was just part of the floor. So that does work. I should know this. Does light come through a trapdoor in vanilla? I think so. I can't really tell. Not vanilla. I mean, well, yes, vanilla, but I mean without shaders. Let's turn them back on. But obviously, you can see with the shaders on, and this is complementary reimagined on high settings. I like the way that looks. I definitely don't mind playing without shaders. I actually really enjoy the way that Minecraft looks without shaders. But I also do really like the fact that I have a PC now that can run shaders really well, and so I like the way complementary reimagined looks, and so I do like to see that. I could talk more about my PC in a minute, but let's finish the tour. This table, same deal with this white tablecloth all the way to the floor, with those could be like a placemat or something, or just like an extra little splash of color, like a design or something on the tablecloth. Yes, door out to this side. You can see there's like the chimney coming out of the stove here. Yep, there. Oh, something I keep meaning to do is I keep meaning to extend it just that little bit further, because that's supposed to be above the roof. That's how a chimney works. So boom, boom, boom. Should it be there? Yeah, that's acceptable. I like that. Yes, perfect. Okay, so whoops, coming back in here. Little Bear's room. It's not too complicated of a room. He does have a picture on the wall of like a boat or something. That's about as close as you can get. He does have like a reddish chest there. He's got some curtains in his window and red bed with this sort of like bed frame. You can't really do, well, at least I didn't. I couldn't really come up with like how to put one at the head of the bed, like a headboard, but that would have been cool. But there's one there for the footboard. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about the bookshelves being so close to the bed. I didn't want to do a double bed because he clearly just has like a twin kind of bed. But that looks good. And he does have some candles, little decoration here, and he does have like a dresser with some stuff on it. And so I was imagining like, what would Little Bear like collect? Compass, maybe some gold that he found, maybe some crystals that he found. Makes sense. He likes to explore. Some junk in here. And then we can see the other room, which is Mother Bear, Father Bear's bedroom. And this, it's not really shown all that often, but they have kind of like this color wall, pretty much similar to what's out here, but it's slightly like pinker is kind of like what I've seen. Little Bear's is obviously green terracotta is what I used there. And then, yeah, they got the pink bed. I did a different kind of bed, footboard for them. They got a shelf or a chest in here. Got some discs, and here's a record disc player. I have a record disc farm. I should definitely show that on camera at some point because I'm pretty proud of that. And I used like a hybrid of something that Doc M77 did, and it's attached to a creeper farm that Mumbo Jumbo did. So I'll have to show you that at some point. But here we go. That's about it. Now, the last room is this, and there's obviously not much in here. And this is not even really in the show. But there is very often this extra like square room, rectangular room on the back. And like I said, there are some inconsistencies in the show itself with, is this there or not? And is this meant to be Little Bear's room or the parents' room? It's not really shown. It's not often that there's like a door shown here, maybe never on the inside of the house, but I had to make something work with this. Like this has to go somewhere. So I thought maybe this could be like a bathroom. I don't know. do they use the bathroom in Little Bear? Anyway, here we go. This could be like a whole for that purpose. So anyway, yeah, Room is empty for now. Maybe I'll come up with something. Maybe this could be like a greenhouse or like have some indoor plants in here or something. I don't know. That might be cool. Last thing is Little Bear's house has this room up here showing that there's an attic, but they never go in the attic. At least I don't think so. I really don't think they ever do. And so I did kind of fill it out, like I finished, I made it look like this is an intended space. There's obviously nothing in here. And so I have an idea for what to do here. And what that is I would like to put a wind charge launcher in here if I can that will, this would obviously just be like a Minecrafty thing to do. It's not like meant to be part of Little Bear's house. It's just like, well, this space is not really part of the story of the build, I don't know exactly how to build this, but I know of where to look. So I want to do one that pulls one of these blocks out of the way so that I can wind charge launch out of it and then have it replace the block, like close up the hole. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Hermitcraft Season 10's download. We're going to look at that because I know that CubFan has one just like that in his rocket factory there that maybe I could take a look at and see if I can build it myself. Okay, here we are in the Hermitcraft Season 10 world download. And as you can see, we are atop CubFan's rocket factory. And CubFan is another Hermitcrafter that I really enjoy watching, and his stuff is awesome. So he has this factory that has exactly what I'm talking about that I want to build in the attic of Little Bear's house. So let's see if we can get up there. Okay, so here we are at the room where he has this wind charge launcher that I want to do. So I think the way this works is you press this button, step in there, and it works. Woohoo! Yes. That is sweet. And you see the hole closed up. That's pretty awesome. All right, so now we need to see how he did this. Okay, now you can see that we're in the guts of it. So let's see. The room itself is here, and here's the machine. So I'm going to sort this out, and we'll see if I can replicate this in my world. This is a good time for me to tell you what my computer specs are, since I said I was going to do that. I've recently built my first gaming PC with the graphics card being an AMD RX 9070 non-XT, and the CPU is a Ryzen 5 9600X. Pretty mid-level, but really good. And I'll put the rest of the stuff in the description. Well, that wasn't too bad. So I found out I'm a little bit space constrained, so I don't have enough vertical space to do the entire mechanism that he made where the button press actually also activates the wind charge launcher. So what he did is I try to understand the redstone that I build, even though I don't really enjoy trying to figure it out from scratch by myself. I like to sort of understand, what did I do if I basically copied somebody else's redstone build. And I prefer to do like what I just showed you, where I see something that's built, and instead of following a tutorial, I look at it and try to build it instead of a block by block tutorial. So what's going on here is, here's our platform. Up here we have a double piston extender. Is that what you call this? Whoa, Enderman, hello. Basically what it is this piston is going to pull the slab down, and then those two pistons are going to pull the slab and this piston away. These are obviously all sticky pistons, so the stuff will stick. So those two redstone torches cause all the pistons to be extended at default, and that, I learned, that block is allowing that redstone torch to power this one too. Maybe that's called butt powering. Is that what butt powering is? Anyway, that's a thing in redstone. So anyway, that's how that is by default. And then all the button does is it sends repeater stuff. It uses these repeaters to send the redstone signal up. And there's a delay on this one, presumably because the button press has to reach this one first so that it can pull first, and then those pull. So that's all that's happening. That makes sense. And then this, I just did the wind charge launcher with a a pressure plate. So the way you do this is press, step in, and there we go, and see it closed. And since it's wind charges, you don't take any damage when you fall. Here, I'll show you one more time. All right, one more time. Here we go. So we press the button. Oh, I missed. It stood in slightly the wrong place. Button. Whee! And you see the hole closed. Like nothing happened. That's pretty cool. That was satisfying to do. So like I said, I love learning redstone like that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'm very proud to have done this. I kind of set out on this mission, I guess you could say, a while ago. It's taken a couple of months to make this because I don't play Minecraft every day. I'm not a YouTuber. Who do I think I am? So it took me a while to do this, and I'm really glad and pleased with how it came out. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you again in another video in the future. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.